to What's in the Box episodes of horror with Donna and Eric. I'm Donna,
And I'm Eric.
and we have with us for our Texas Author Con and Book Festival author interviews, we have Ronald Malfi and Rebecca Rowland. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, Rebecca.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. Yes. Last time we saw you guys was at Scares That Care,
Right.
Yeah, what was that? April?
April. Yeah.
What is it, June? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
That was
Feels
this
like,
year? I can't even remember.
right?
Yeah, I
I
know.
know. It feels like a lifetime ago. So crazy.
For having me
So,
on, and I
huh?
appreciate it. I said,
Oh,
thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Good time. We let Rebecca tag along with you.
That's me.
Tag along with Rebecca.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start this off with some fun little questions. Rebecca, you answered these first two questions last year, so we'll let Ron answer them this year. And then we'll have a couple more for you. So, Ron, tell us, Freddie, Michael, or Jason?
Mm. I'm gonna have to go with Jason only because Freddie, I always kind of found him more funny than scary, and Jason was. I just got fond memories of uh, being a kid and renting those movies from like a video store when I was at my grandparents' house, and uh, there's always a pair of tits on screen every time my grandfather walked in the room, and he's like, "Ronald," and I'm like, "So I didn't make the movie." I was like 12, I don't know,
Right.
but yeah, so I'll go Jason.
Okay, cool. If
Well, that's
that's
a
the
correct
right
answer.
answer. Correct answer, yeah. And now, werewolves or vampires?
Hmm. Oh, what if they bit each other and turned into like a mutated vamp wolf? Let's go with
I've
that.
always wanted to read something like that.
Hmm. I think
So
that's
one
where
of
I'm
you
going to
guys need to write that.
go.
Well, we have it sort of in Underworld, so the
Yeah,
That's
movies.
this
true.
is true. Yeah,
That's right.
true. So you kind of like want a hybrid. You like them both
Sure.
equally.
Why not? Let's do that.
Okay,
You'll
cool.
probably get the worst of both. You'll get like a small bat with like a giant wolf tail and it can't fly because it's so unwieldy. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
comes out the way you
All right. So Rebecca, um, who or what is your favorite Universal monster?
Oh, if okay. For the movie version, it's not Frankenstein because I love the book and the original Universal movie massacres it. It's really not until The Bride of Frankenstein that they really follow
think.
Shelley's story. So I'm going to say The Mummy.
Okay.
And I like the series, like all four of them of the classic Mummy. But I'm just going to admit it. I like the 1990s version with Brendan Fraser. I
Who
think
doesn't?
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't?
it's super fun. It's super fun. And I think that the special effects hold up and it's just creepy and yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Okay, cool. What about you,
Yeah, and I
Ron?
think when you,
Oh,
well, I was just say when you throw in the Hammer horror Mummy remakes in the '60s, then I mean it makes it a perfect timeline of movies with that character.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mine would be the creature from the Black Lagoon. I like
nice.
that. I saw that like at another story at a young age, watching it on TV where I called it 3D. I didn't know what it was actually called because I remember they showed it on TV and you could get 3D glasses from McDonald's and it was so I for like years I thought that movie was called 3D. But so 3D is my
Very
favorite
cool.
Universal monster.
Yeah, it's a
3D.
beautiful movie. Right? So,
Yeah, that's
and those are
interesting to
great
see.
too. Those old black, the blue and the red glasses. When you
Yeah,
try and watch anything on 3D on TV,
Absolutely.
it's just so terrible. But
yeah, yeah. So, Ron, will ask you, fast or slow zombies?
Both. They both have their place. The fast one's a little frightening. When I first saw them on screen, I'm like, that's pretty good. That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
I mean, slow ones, you get that kind of creeping dread thing going. But man, if you can't get away, you deserve to be eaten by a slow moving zombie.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite zombie movie?
Um, The one I watched, I don't know if I'd say it's the best of them, but the one I get the most fun out of is the Dawn of the Dead remake. I love
Mhm.
that movie for some crazy reason. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Rebecca?
My favorite zombie movie or Fast or Slow Zombies? Both.
Both.
Um,
Both.
in my house or on the screen, because I think that makes a tad difference. Slow if it's coming after me. Fast are definitely scarier. But I think that I'm not really afraid of much, but I have, and Ron knows this, I have a real issue with biting. It freaks me out, like teeth biting. And so zombie movies
I know
are
this because she told me, not because I'm a like chronic
because
biter.
he bites when we argue. So I um the zombie movies that I like are actually the ones that are not traditionally zombie movies. So they're things like It Comes at Night, which I
Okay.
just
Okay.
started rewatching the other night, and then I remembered that the dog died in a horrible way, so I shut it off. And then The Serpent and the Rainbow, I
I
really
love
like.
that. That was a great
Yeah,
movie.
traditional
It,
zombies are really fun to watch. Yeah.
yeah, it's so creepy and it's just, yeah. I mean, 28 Days Later, movies like that. I just saw The Night Eats the World, I think is the name of it. I just caught it on TV a couple of days ago, and it was interesting. But again, I don't like this constant feeling of someone putting their mouth on my arm or my leg or anything like that. So it's unnerving to me. That's actually I'm just going to confess, they really freak me out. They freak me out.
Nice. Now, would either of you consider a vampire kind of a zombie?
I mean, they qualify, right? Because they're undead in their but I feel like a vampire is rational, like they
Mhm.
know what they're doing, whereas a zombie, that's I think part of the creepy part is that they're just biting to bite you, maybe to eat your brains, depending on what type of zombie movie you're watching. But
Right. But if you watch Return of the Living Dead, that one actually like uses the radio to call more people to come so it can eat more brains and stuff. So
oh,
Yeah,
right,
that
that's
universe
true.
has zombies that are
That's
intelligent.
true.
So.
yeah.
Yeah.
Night of the Comet. Um, those zombies are like talking on the PA system at the mall, and
Yeah, they're trying on clothes, they're putting
mhm.
on like battalion gear and everything. Yeah, that's a great movie, Night of the Comet.
Yeah, it's one of
That's
my
a
faves.
yeah.
One of my faves. Um, so Rebecca, tell us, do you have a favorite cryptid?
I I mean, Mothman is always a good standby, but I know that there are a few kind of sea serpent monsters up by you and me, because we're Massachusetts gals, and so I want to say that there's like the Lake Champlain like
Champ,
monster,
champ.
right?
Yeah.
Um, there's one right over the border, I want to say, right in New Hampshire that I'm trying to think of the name of. But I think as far as like one I would want to pal around with and go out for drinks, it would have to be Mothman. It would have to
Yeah.
be Mothman.
What about you, Ron?
I love the Mothman story. I don't know. I mean, I like the kind of myth that surrounds that cryptid. So that's kind of cool. But like Rebecca, I kind of like the sea serpenty things, which I think like almost every state has one. So
Mhm.
in Maryland, by the Chesapeake Bay, we have Chessie instead of Nessie. So those are kind of cool too. But yeah, Mothman's always been I like sort of the whole mythos surrounding that guy. So
Yeah,
plus,
Mothman has gotten a lot of votes. Like a lot of people like Mothman. So I my favorite cryptid is this thing, and I never can say the name right, and it's a German cryptid. It's a Wolpetinger. It's like got the body of a rabbit, pheasant wings, um, antlers. So it's kind of like a jackalope with wings, and it really doesn't hurt you. It just like it. The lore is it leads you into the forest, and you get lost and you starve to death. So it's just typically cute looking little creature because it, a rabbit with wings and antlers, that's kind of cute, right? But it'll take you out into the woods to get you lost so you starve to death. So,
It has pheasant wings, like they're that specific. It's got to
yep,
be pheasant wings. If it's turkey, it's something, or like little
yeah,
parakeet wings. It just doesn't work.
yep, it's
I was gonna say it
got to
doesn't
be,
fly, but yeah.
yep,
Like all good Germans, fairy tales, it ends with you starving to death in the forest. So,
yeah. Everything
With all
happens
your
in the
fingers.
forest in Germany.
yeah.
All those forest creatures. All right. So I'll ask Ron, out of all of your projects, all of the books you've written, which one would you like to see made into a movie?
Oh, I don't know, the one that has the most sequel potential, maybe, I guess. No, well, so my new book, Small Town Horror, just came out, and that one actually started as a TV series that I had pitched and had optioned and kind of fleshed out that way. So out of all my stuff, I always saw that one more cinematically than all the others, just up front, just because of
Hmm.
where it came from. Um, you got some fancy graphics up there and everything.
Well, I don't know about
But
fancy, but
yeah, so maybe that one, at least in my head, I could see it um more cinematically than the rest. But you know what? I don't know. I'd like to see any of them at this point. It'd be kind of cool.
right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to jinx any of them. Let's see what happens.
I know, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
And then we have Rebecca. So what about you, Rebecca? Do you have a specific story or that you would want to see made into a movie?
That would be the one that pays the most, Donna, I would say, with the advance for the options. No, I mean, I think it would be neat to see. There was a short story that I wrote that was in my first collection called Bent, and it's about a dominatrix and a rigger who is obsessed with folding women into these kind of flesh accordions, kind of putting them into uh, poses that they're not supposed to be posed into, and it becomes more and more sadistic. And as misogynistic as that sounds, I really liked the characters a lot. I liked the villain a lot, and I would love to see that made into a movie. Yeah.
I personally would love to see The Viewmaster made into a movie. And I know you wrote that with Michael, is it Aloisi?
Yep,
Aloisi?
with Aloisi. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was such a fun story. And it's like got the nostalgia because I could totally envision like me doing the little
The
lever.
Viewmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I ended up buying one of those off of eBay and going through and kind of just before we started writing, getting the real feel for it and how it sounds, how it looks. Yeah, it was very nostalgic and really they're a lot cooler than I think people realize. The photography is really neat. It's sort of three-dimensional and yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's a deep cut. Thank you for bringing that one up.
Yeah. And I just read, Ron, I just read your Halloween story there, The House on Cottage Lane. Um, I know that's an older one, and I
Time of
just didn't.
season. It's the perfect time of season for it. That's
I
good.
know, right? Halloween in July, in June. I really like that one. That would make a really good movie. And I liked it because you don't really know what happened to Oliver.
Neither do
Like,
I. That's kind of why I wrote it that way.
and I love the character. I forget Brian? It was Brian, right? Yeah. How he's like being mean, but then he's kind of like, oh, I'll try to be nice, you know? And I'm sorry, that's
Well,
all
I
I've
think
read of yours. I didn't have time to read one of your full books because you write.
you prepared for this. I can see.
Yes, Donna always is advanced when it comes to that. She reads everything so quickly. I'm still trying to catch up for our normal reading sessions. I'm behind on everything.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I'm trying to read something small that I can find from as many authors that are going to be at Texas AuthorCon as I can, just to like promote them in the group on Facebook and on my Instagram, just for people who may be there. They may be like, oh, interesting.
It's a lot of authors, so it's a lot of reading.
Yeah. Not everybody I can get to, because I looked at one author and his shortest book was like 290 pages, and I'm like, I'm not going to have time to read that before.
When
So
my Christmas story comes out, you could read it in August, and you
yeah,
could do the full seasonal affectation. There you go.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we have some great ones. Now, Black Mouth, this one is actually one that I was familiar with, that I associate to most. And I think it's because when I first joined Books of Horror, that was a book that had, I think, maybe just had recently come out. So it was talked about a lot. Would you, and I see it mentioned more often than anything else. Do you think Black Mouth is one of your most popular titles?
Um, no, I
No.
love that book. I wish it was actually a little more popular. I think people know me for like more for my book Bone White or Come With Me, but Black Mouth I think is probably one of my strongest books, and it's funny that you have it on the graphic there with Small Town, because they're sort of sister novels. I think of them that way, and where Black Mouth is sort of this story about a group of kids who are kind of influenced by an adult figure and sort of innocence, forced to do something heinous, whereas Small Town takes that and kind of looks at the photo negative of that, where I said, well, what happens if those kids weren't so innocent and they were actually guilty of the thing that happened? So I kind of examined both um, sides of that coin in both of those novels. And really, small town horror kind of came from when I was writing Black Mouth, about what if it went in this direction instead of this direction. So they're sort of a yin and yang of each other.
Nice, nice. I was waiting for you to say they were like interconnected.
Yeah, loosely. I mean, there's brief mention of the characters from Black Mouth in the novel Small Town Horror. If you're paying
Okay.
attention, there's a little Easter egg. Yeah.
Okay. No, he must be letting a dog in or out, one of the two.
Raising the roof too. Oh.
Huh?
That's a bad hip hop joke. Never mind.
Oh.
That's fine.
So the covers look a little bit similar. Were they done by the same person?
So they're all published through Titan Books. So they
Okay.
sort of have branded my covers to look similar. So they when they don't sell and they get returned, they know who to throw in the trash bin. They go, oh, that guy's stuff. Throw it out. No, they do a nice job. And I sort of like the branding that they're doing with it. So can't complain.
Yeah. Nice. So a question that we don't really ask everybody. Is there a project, a book that you wish you didn't write?
Right. um Probably my first book. I don't talk about it much. It's out of print.
Well, then
And it
don't
happened
tease
to
me, because then I'm going to have to search for it and I'm going to spend a ridiculous amount of money just to read it.
Yeah, no, and it was published like a year after I graduated college, and I had written like six or so novel manuscripts by that point, and I was just really hungry to get something published, and probably was my overzealousness was greater than my talent at the time. So like everything else I do, I shoehorned my way into getting a publishing contract and realized, well, this book actually sucks. So yeah, it's blessedly out of print. So happy eBay hunting.
So
Is
Rebecca,
it
for
something you
you,
might revisit? Hold on. Is there
oh,
something you might revisit? Like you might
Oh,
take it and rewrite it?
no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, you know what, I say that kind of tongue in cheek. I mean, it was not a good book by any means, but it did help me meet people in the industry, small press owners, indie press owners, upstart publishing companies at the time, which were fairly new. This was like 2000 when the book came out. And it did help me get my second book published. So I can't really say that it wasn't, didn't have some worth. But as far as sitting down and having a good old beach read out of it, I don't know. There's a lot of misspellings and lofty ideas that I didn't know how to get across. But there's a nice description of water. I'll say that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's worth it right there.
There it is. Worth the price of admission. That $800 eBay paperback. Yeah.
Rebecca, for you, White Trash and Recycled Nightmares is your most recent release.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
It's a collection of short fiction. About 3/4 of it have appeared in other anthologies or magazines here and there. I want to say the oldest story in there, I think, appeared in maybe 2018. Yeah, I mean, what would you like to know? I don't know. It was just nominated for a Shirley Jackson Award, which I'm
that's good.
Pretty excited about. I'm pretty excited about that. Anthony
was nominated for Stoker too, right?
Was that also American Cannibal was nominated for the Stoker, and then White Trash was nominated for the Shirley Jackson. So I don't have to have a favorite child anymore. They both achieved. No one's gonna have to go into therapy, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I'm proud of both of them. I mean, it was one of these years where in fact, I was just saying to my oldest friend, I think I actually might be dead because I've had such good luck this year in a lot of things, not just in writing. And you know what? That's not, considering I turned 50 this year. I think that, when people say things like, oh, Bram Stoker didn't, publish his first novel until he was, in his late 40s or whatever. This is 50 and it's pretty fucking awesome, I think. I've had a really, sorry, was I not supposed to drop that F-bomb?
No, you're fine.
It's a G-rated podcast. I've just had a really good year and I've been really, really fortunate, just very fortunate, a lot of really good luck. So yeah, so that's it. That's my story.
Yeah. Now I just got to say,
Bram Stoker wasn't even nominated for a Stoker, yet
right?
She was.
Right?
I think that's pretty impressive.
Or Shirley Jackson will have to point out.
Yeah.
I would say the most shocking thing you said there was that you're turning 50. I would not.
Right? I was
I'm already 50. I turned 50 last summer. So yeah.
Wow.
So yay me. That's me.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm the oldest person in this podcast right now.
Before, so
you got me beat by a year.
Yeah, me too. So one thing, what I was going to say is I love the cover of White Trash and Recycled Nightmares. I just wish it looked more white trashy though.
So if you flip it, if you look, it's a full wrap, and there is a man on the back, and he's a little unsettling looking. He's kind of dirty looking. I think that's the approach that the artist took, which I love this artist. I can't say enough nice things about him. His name is Anthony Galatis. He's out of Greece. I adore him. I would work with him on another project in a heartbeat. He generally does things that are a little more fanciful. This was more realistic looking. And so, but I just think he just absolutely knocked this out of the park. If you see it bigger, and I'm probably going to bring the stand that was living in your car for a while, Donna. I finally got back from Kim this past weekend. I'm probably going to bring the stand of White Trash where you can really see the detail in the cover. And if you look at the house, every one of the windows has something unsettling sort of popping up with it. which
Okay,
is,
I'll have to examine it.
yeah, it's all Anthony. He did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. I mean, I just don't have it. I mean, I lucked out. Jen Lee did the audiobook. I could not have gotten a better narrator. She's amazing. And Mary San Giovanni wrote the foreword.
Yep.
Sean McAmer did the editing. I was really, really blessed. I was just very, very fortunate. So that's really who the Shirley Jackson belongs to. It's really just, it's a group thing.
Well, most books are, because you write it, then you got an editor usually, and then you have somebody doing your cover usually. I mean, there are those authors out there that do everything themselves, but in a typical flow of a book, someone writes it, someone edits it, someone formats it, and then you have the cover artist. And so it takes a village to write a
It
book.
takes a village. Hillary was right. It's true.
At least to get it out. I don't know if there's a village in there when I'm writing it, but yeah, there are other people helping me get it.
It's me, the village idiot, I think. So now that we all know what the roles are.
So for both of you, do you have a preference over science fiction versus fantasy?
I mean, I do. What do you have, Ron?
Depends on both on how deep we go into those realms. Like not I was never a big fan of like hard sci-fi. Um, you know, but like, I love like time travel stories and stuff like that. Same thing with fantasy. I was never like really into like sword and sorcery stuff, but I like fantastical elements. So I'm sort of I sort of like the I don't know, the Miller Lite version of both of those genres, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Although I mean, like some movies, like I do love time travel stuff. Like there's a very it's very sci-fi, or sci heavy, I guess, like a movie like Primer, which is a time travel movie, but it's a dense movie, but it's fantastic. So I can, there are exceptions to that, but mostly I'm a like a Becker Star Wars kind of guy. So
Yeah. Nice. Becca?
I mean, you guys know from our talk last year, like my three favorite horror movies are all sci-fi horror, right? They're The Thing, Aliens, Event Horizon. Like I never considered myself a sci-fi person, but when I look at my horror preferences, I mean, they definitely skew that way for whatever reason. And rather than sort of the fantastical elements of monsters or Lovecraftian kind of horror, I'm not there. That's fine. I like In the Mouth of Madness, which is like uber Lovecraftian, but of that trilogy, right, of John Carpenter's, it's definitely The Thing. I mean, 100%. So I would say sci-fi. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you guys? What do you prefer?
I really can't say that I have a preference, although I am a Star Wars nerd through and through. Every single weekend, I have The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 playing on my TV. On Saturday, I watch season 1. On Sunday, I watch season 2. Just because I'm not really a big TV watcher, and I'm usually reading or dealing with my son, so I'm up and down, and I've seen those episodes 1,000 times. I do Star Wars marathons at Christmas and New Year's, so I'll start with episode 4, and then I'll work my way through all the movies. So I guess maybe you can say I'm a sci-fi person, but then again, I love Legend and Willow and The Last Unicorn, those kinds of things.
Wars really is more fantasy than sci-fi too, in my opinion. I think they're more fantasy stories.
Yeah, you could say that.
So you
Eric?
skip episodes 1 through 3?
No, but I watch them I watch them in release order.
Oh.
So I'll watch 4, 5, 6, and then
I know, it's insane.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. No, I
To
like to
watch them in
pretend.
release order, but backwards, like like you take a record backwards. So like Luke's hand comes back on. Oh, that's a spoiler alert. Sorry, his hand
Yeah,
gets
right.
chopped off. His hand gets
No,
chopped off.
no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 1, 2, and 3. I was really excited to go see, the Darth Maul one, that one.
Yeah.
Well, they
But
wasted the character.
Yeah, they totally did.
they
Totally wasted
did,
it.
and they made it, I think, too, I don't know, in my opinion, too juvenile, like with the Jar Jar Binks and kind of that, all of those aspects. I just thought,
Well, they wanted to sell toys.
Yeah.
yeah,
So see,
yeah, and
I thought 7 was very juvenile and Keystone Cops kind of, where not Finn, but the other guy, he was in the tank and he comes running out and he's like got tubes all over him and stuff. That was not scary or shocking. It was kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
I thought so. And 1, 2, and 3 are not my favorites, but you gotta watch them because they exist.
I mean, you should really just watch Empire over and over and over again. I don't
Yeah.
know why any of the other films exist, quite frankly, but that's
Well, the wife and I are actually watching Star Wars right now in order, chronologically, not the crazy way Donna does it. So we just watched 1 and 2. So yeah, they're actually better than I remember them being, but they still kind of suck. I can't wait to get to 4, 5, and 6, and then we can call it a day. But she wants to watch everything as we watch the shows, so she knows who the characters in the shows are referencing. So we
Yeah.
started it.
yeah.
So I know I'll just start with Ron. I know you just had a release, Small Town Horror. Got anything else you're working on that'll maybe be released this year or next year?
He's got the
I'm
music
working on
video
a.
coming out tonight.
That's right. Yeah, my band has a music video coming out tonight.
Oh,
That was
that's
filmed in November of last year, so
yeah.
it's was a long time coming. Um, yeah, so that's happening. No book. Well, I mean, I'm working on a new novel right now. That'll be out next year, and then I think by the fall of this year, Titan is reprinting my novel, The Narrows. So that should be out, and it's got. I had to like write an intro for it, and it includes it includes a prologue that wasn't in the original paperback edition when it first came out. So it's finally all chunky and together. So yeah, I think that's like August, September, October, somewhere in there. So that'll be out later this year.
Nice. And Rebecca, how about you?
I have a short story coming out in an anthology that Ron is also in, that I don't know if we're even supposed to talk about it. So it's just coming out maybe August. We think August, September,
Okay.
it'll be there at some point. And then 5 other ones coming out throughout the fall up until next March. One of them in particular, I'm very proud of. It comes out in December. The anthology is called Violent Advents, and 100% of the proceeds go to the American and British Heart Associations. 100%, like the publisher's not taking any of it. And I mean, it's a cause that's very close to my heart. My mother was a cardiac nurse who died of a heart attack.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
and it happens to be the #1 killer of women. And so when this publisher asked me, the editor asked me, I said, yeah, like absolutely. And it's all Christmas themed horror, which I've never written before. And he liked my story. So that's coming out in December. And I have a short novel / long novella that's out being shopped right now, and a 3rd short fiction collection. So we'll see when those come out at some
Busy
point.
lady.
Yep.
At some point, we'll see.
Yeah. Now, hopefully this episode will air in June. Because I just wanted to ask you, Rebecca, about I saw your promo for Unburied, where you're donating
Yes.
100% of the proceeds to the ACLU Drag Defense Fund. How's that
Yes.
going? Have you
I don't know. The publisher will let me know in
Oh, okay.
July. So it's one of those things. So because it would be the end of the second quarter, generally I don't get my royalty payments with this particular publisher for another 6 months. But when I do this promotion every June, they do end up kind of speeding them up, and then they show me just what I would have made for June. He agreed this year to match my my donation, so he's going to put all of his proceeds towards ACLU's Drag Defense Fund. So please, if you don't have a copy of this, if you do have a copy of it and you just want to donate it to a Florida library, feel free. It's an anthology named Unburied, and it's all queer horror, and it has queer fiction icons. Felice Picano, who is he began the Violet Quill in the 1970s. He is an absolute just veteran icon of queer literature. He turned 80 this year, and he's still absolutely fantastic and still writing. And so he's in that. Greg Herron is in it as well, Daniel Jaff, as well as Stoker Award winner Robert Atone has a fantastic story about drag in there. And there's all sorts, it's every type of horror you can imagine, from vampire horror, psychological, quiet horror, ghost stories. And so again, 100% goes to the ACLU Drag Defense Fund in the entire month of June. So thank you for remembering that. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually bought the ebook copy of it, so hopefully I'll get a chance to get to it before the end of Pride Month.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Yeah, of course. So besides coming out to Texas AuthorCon and Book Festival, I'll start with Ron. Where can people find your books, your socials?
Yeah, I mean, well, my books are, you can buy them online. You can buy them, wherever you buy your books. I've been supporting a lot of small indie bookstores with this release. So I have, I'll occasionally post different independent bookstores around the country on my Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, and direct like my traffic to support that particular bookstore in any given week. And that's been a lot of fun. And it's really kind of, I've heard from a lot of these bookstores around the country that it's been, it's paid off for them. They're getting people ordering these books. I send signed book plates out to all the stores. So people who order them from the smaller bookstores will get signed copies or a signed book plate with those books. And it's better than, just saying we'll go to Amazon or, something like that. So that's been really great. But yeah, you can kind of get them wherever you get your books. And looking forward to going to Texas and basically all over the place this year. I think I can't keep it all straight. All over the place.
Are you going to St. Louis? Scares That Care as well?
Yeah, we'll be in St. Louis.
All right, Rebecca.
We'll also be at Vortex Books at the end of the month. That's June 29th.
Yeah,
that's Brian Keene, and yeah, it's only 2 weeks from now, Ron. I don't know.
Is that what this is?
So it's Mary San Giovanni and Brian Keene's bookstore. We'll be signing books with Elmarie Wood, as well as a whole group of newer writers that we're going to be palling around with. So come see us there if you're in Pennsylvania. We'll be at Texas. We're going to be at KillerCon.
So you guys are coming to KillerCon?
Yep. I'm just going to be a menace, really. I don't have any reason to be there except just to hang out and enjoy
for governor. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would willingly go back to Texas in August.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how lovely and temperate it is in Texas in the summertime. Oh my God. So last year at KillerCon in Austin, I think, looking at my phone, I think it said it felt like it was 108. It was something insane. It feels like you're walking on the sun. Yeah, it's an experience I think everyone needs to have. So come down to KillerCon in August in Austin. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll have links to your author pages down in the description. And we'll have a link to the Eventbrite for Texas AuthorCon and Book Festival. It's a free event, but if you grab a ticket, you will get entered to win some prizes. So we hope to see you. It's coming up quick, about a month away.
And Merrill David, I have to give him a lot of credit because that is a lot to organize. I know, Eric, you were one of the original crew putting this together. Just seeing it grow. I think it's what, 125?
115.
Yeah,
115.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of us there.
Yeah,
and we're all kind of like squished together for the most part. I know, Donna, you are like diagonally like 4 tables straight ahead, but I think I can throw something at Eric from where I am on the map. So
I encourage that. Yes. Get my attention.
Matt Michelli, I already said I was going to be throwing a paper airplane at. So he's like right in my eyesight. So that's going to be, they're going to be menaces, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So everybody come on out and see us at the event. And thank you for joining us.
Take it easy.